say this afternoon, poised as we are at the beginning of this historic convention, that we, in order to understand where we are going, must probe our bitter past where we have been. This is not the first time blacks have assembled to chart their political course. 1855, 1871, 1872. These were years in which national black political conventions met in New York, Columbia, South Carolina, and in New Orleans. Now, some of the white news media has criticized us for calling this convention and welcoming all of our brothers and sisters. But we shall determine who comes to this convention, not the white news media. And I want to say here and now that all black people are welcome, the thousands, and that includes Bobby Seale and Angela Davis. I just want to tell you this afternoon that the 1968 National Party convention made a mockery of the democratic process. They were drunken carnivals run for the exclusive few. They debauched the electoral process and they shattered the idealistic hopes of youth. Before critical decisions are made, they must be discussed by all of us in every nook and cranny of this country, from the tar paper shacks in the Mississippi Delta to the pine hovels in the Appalachian Hills, from the rank basement apartments of 47th Street in Chicago to the barrios of Spanish Harlem in New York. We all must participate in those decisions. We demand that any party which asks our support acknowledge the inhumanity every black man, woman, and child faces in 100 different ways each and every day of his existence up and down the width and breadth of this land. We demand the eradication of heroin from the ghetto, now eating away at the vitals of black youth. People know that white society would never tolerate it in such epidemic proportions in suburbia, and we will not tolerate it in the ghetto.
Roughly 10,000 people have congregated here in Gary this weekend of weekends. 10,000 brothers and sisters from almost every state of this former Indian territory. They have come with one purpose in mind, and that purpose has eluded our people ever since we left the distant shores of Africa. That purpose is to unite all the segments that go to make up the thing we call Black America. This has been the central task of our beloved martyrs. It is a task that we have finally accomplished here in Gary.
Those of us already disenchanted with the political system could conceivably turn to other tactics, shattering the quiet routine of daily life in this country. Those of us still committed to a political solution might then decide to form a new party movement. But whatever, I think all of us are saying this afternoon that if the two major parties in this country fail us and reject us once again in 1972, then they must accept the consequences of that act. And when and if they leave us no choice, and if we form a third political movement, we shall take with us the Chicanos, the Puerto Ricans, the Indians, the Orientals, a wonderful kaleidoscope of colors. And I want to say to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, that is not all that we shall take with us. We shall also take with us the best of white America. We shall take with us many a white youth nauseated by the corrupt values rotting the innards of this society. We shall take with us many of the white poor who have nothing to lose but the poverty which binds them. We shall take with us many of the white GIs, ex-GIs, who dares to say never again. Yes, and many of the white working class too. Now, this convention can make history. Whether it does depends upon what we do here today. We must emerge from this convention with an independent national black political agenda, a dynamic program for black liberation that in the process will liberate all America from its current decadence. Finally, and this is so central to everything that black people are about. Dr. King told us about this first. Finally, we shall shun like the plague any political party which does not demand in unmistakable terms the immediate return to these shores of every single American boy from the distant Southeast Asian land. Our participation in that atrocious war is not an unfortunate mistake on the part of the American ruling class. Rather, it is part and parcel of an economic policy to make the world safe, not for democracy, but for American corporate penetration and to fill the coffers of corporate treasury. We shall never forgive the massive support that a racist American government and the American corporations have extended to the white barbarians who reign in the Union of South Africa and Angola, Rhodesia. I believe that the 70s will be the decade of an independent black political thrust. Its destiny will depend upon us here at Gary this afternoon. How shall we respond? Will we walk in unity or disperse in 1,000 different directions? Will we stand for principle or settle for a mess of pottage? Will we maintain our integrity or will we succumb to the man's temptation? Will we act like free black men or like timid, shivering chattels? Will we do what must be done? These are the questions confronting this convention, and we, you and I, are the only ones that can answer them, and history will be the judge. Thank you.